I'm Laura Ingraham. This is the Ingraham Angle from Los Angeles. Thanks for being with us tonight. Not having Gavin. That's the focus of tonight's angle. Never let a crisis go to waste. That was Rahm Emanuel's classic line from the Obama era, and it still captures the Democrat Party's approach to politics. Take California's greasy Gavin Newsom, who's trying to use a pair of mass shootings in his state to build his bona fides going into 2024.
Nothing about this is surprising. Everything about this is infuriating. This Second Amendment's becoming a suicide pact, it feels like.
Okay. If that guy's the Democrats' post-Biden Plan B, they're in trouble. Leaders take charge, and when necessary, they take responsibility. But what does he do? He takes lowbrow pot shots. When he wasn't blaming the Second Amendment to the Constitution, he was gaslighting the First, attacking the free press, well, the one network that consistently holds him accountable, telling an ABC affiliate in California that it's a disgrace, what we say at Fox every night. He said there's xenophobia, there's racial priming, whatever that is, what they've done to perpetuate crime and violence in this country. What? Xenophobia? Racial priming? Newsom immediately tried to tie the attacks to right-wing Trump supporters. And of course, other top Democrats did the same. Anti-gun zealot Chuck Schumer tweeted about the need to stand up to bigotry and hate. And the odious Adam Schiff claimed AAPI bigotry was a possible motive in the shootings. And with Newsom and the gang's reflexive call for more gun control, even CBS and MSNBC had to admit that California already has the strictest gun laws in the country.
California has the strictest gun laws in the U.S.
California is doing everything that anybody who is looking for tough gun restrictions to exist, they're doing it all right now.
But Gavin was having none of that. With a bizarre Jack Nicholson-like smile and laugh effect, he looked like he was going for the Oscar.
You claim to care about your kids? We were just talking, the number one killer of our kids last year was guns. The hell's wrong with us? I'm not saying take everybody's guns and stop that, the extreme back and forth. Some damn common sense, common dignity. Kids being traumatized over and over again because of these damn drills at school for shooters, and we're not dealing with the damn issue?
What a creep. Now, it turned out that a deranged elderly Asian man with a criminal history, including unlawful possession of a firearm, was the gunman in that horrific shooting that killed 11 on Sunday in Monterey Park during a Lunar New Year celebration. And as for that rampage in Half Moon Bay, that's about 30 miles south of San Fran, the suspect in custody is another senior citizen, a 66-year-old Asian man. Now, the people killed mostly worked on a mushroom farm, which locals said was known to be a marijuana growing farm. The suspect was subject to a temporary restraining order after a former co-worker and roommate accused him of attacking and threatening him back in 2013. So there's no evidence that racial bias was a motivating factor. But again, facts don't matter. Not when your goal is to score political points. There's demagoguing instead. And then there's Demagavin.
Where's the Republican Party been on gun safety reform? They blocked it every step of the way. One state can't do it alone. Shame on them. And shame on those that allow and perpetuate that to be rewarded politically. Shame on them. Shame on these judges. You deserve better. We deserve better.
Ending the epidemic of gun violence requires doing what Newsom refuses to do. Send an unequivocal message that there will be no tolerance for crime of any kind in the state. But after decades of liberal leadership, criminals here in California know how easy it is to get away with illegal drug sales, car theft, shoplifting, vandalizing, of course, larceny of any kind, and we know far worse. That has to end. This isn't that hard. End the demonizing of law enforcement. Stop supporting and defending pro-criminal prosecutors who are part of the problem. end the sanctuary city policies that have empowered the cartels and the gangs throughout the state. Gun control doesn't stop criminals hell-bent on committing crimes. Just ask the people of Illinois.
Laying on the couch right here, I heard maybe anywhere between 6 to 8 shots. Sounded like it was right up under the window. It's Chicago. I don't think I'm surprised anymore when it comes to like gunshots happening anywhere. It's not surprising me.
Now, beyond the crime epidemic, California has huge problems. A $25 billion budget shortfall. The cities are unsafe, deteriorating from the needless COVID lockdowns, and, as we know here in LA, rampant homelessness. Public schools are in decline. Everyone's trying to find a way out. A pension system that is in crisis, and I mean big crisis. So climate change, insanity, rampant crime, high taxes running the state into the ground, all of it. But at least the Democrats can brag about leading the nation with their legalized weed industry. Now, even the LA Times had to admit a few months ago, we brought it to you at the time, that legal marijuana has also spawned outlaw growths, and with them, violence, shootouts, robberies, kidnappings, and occasionally, as the Times wrote, killings. Muchas gracias, Gavin. No wonder 300,000 residents are leaving California every year for places like Texas and Nevada. So despite his resounding re-election, Newsom's in a bind. So what's the escape for him? A run for the presidency, of course. Well, look closely. You can see his wings, because Newsom is one of the buzzards circling President Biden for 2024. And that means he's got to show his talons.
You have one party that are obstructionists. You have a leader of that party from the state of California hasn't said a damn word about these mass atrocities. Unless there's a pattern interrupt and we start calling people out by name, all those people on Fox Primetime. Really? Crime's your number one issue? You're not going to deal with the leading cause of crime, which is guns? And you still think people should have large capacity magazine clips and weapons of damn war? What frauds. Absolute frauds.
Gaslighting a cable network instead of his own shortcomings. That's going to keep people about as safe as what Gavin's goons did by chasing people off the beaches and out of parks during COVID. That worked well. Now, Newsom may have a sharper mental acuity than Biden, but his policies are just as demented. And the voters aren't having it. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.